Alice Poppy Madeleine Gross was born on Valentine's Day 2000 in London, England. She lived in Hanwell with her sister Nina and her parents, Rosalind and Jose. Known for her creativity and passion for art and design, Alice was also musically talented, proficient in playing the piano and violin, and she often composed and performed her own songs. On August 28, 2014, at approximately 3 p.m., Alice left her home for her usual walk along the riverbank. She told her parents she would be back by 6, a routine she consistently adhered to. Later in the day, she texted her father, saying she was on her way home and wouldn't be long. Alice was always punctual, so when 7 p.m. arrived and she still wasn't home despite her message, her parents knew something was terribly wrong. Her phone was no longer ringing, which only heightened their concerns. At just 14 years old, Alice had been diagnosed with anorexia and depression, and although she and her family were seeking treatment, her parents feared she might have collapsed somewhere. They reported her missing immediately. The police, along with Alice's family and friends, began searching the area where she usually walked, but they found nothing. Detective Superintendent Carl Maida took charge of the case with immediate concern. The investigation gained momentum swiftly, drawing media attention that prompted witnesses to come forward with sightings of Alice. With this information, the police accessed relevant CCTV footage, verifying these sightings. Just before 4 p.m., Alice was captured on camera walking along the Grand Union Canal. Later, at Brentford Lock near her home, she was seen again at 4:26 p.m., walking beneath Trump's Way Bridge, heading back towards Hanwell. However, no further sightings of her were reported after this. Despite extensive efforts, including a desperate appeal from her family days later, the investigation yielded no new leads.
We love you, we miss you, we want to know that you're safe, and we want you to come home. We know that maybe you've been going through some difficult times, but we want you to know that we're thinking about all the happy times we've had together as a family and the lively and beautiful person that you are. Anyone that knows anything about Alice's whereabouts, we want them to understand that she's a very vulnerable young girl, and if they could please contact the police on 101 with any information they might have. That might be someone that knew that she had any kind of plan, someone that she's contacted in a chat room, for example, or someone that actually knows where she is now. Please, please let us know that she's safe.
Detective Superintendent Maida realized that the case required more than just local resources, so he transferred it to Scotland Yard's Homicide and Major Crime Squad for further investigation. The public responded swiftly, mobilizing efforts to locate her. The hashtag #FindAlice spread across social media platforms. Volunteers conducted searches day and night, and yellow ribbons adorned the town to raise awareness about the missing girl. Nearly a week after Alice was last seen, on September 4th, the police discovered her backpack along the River Brent footpath. Inside were her personal belongings, including the shoes she had been wearing. Although Alice and her phone remained missing, this discovery provided a crucial lead, focusing police efforts in a specific area. The authorities decided to release previously obtained CCTV footage to the public, clearly showing the backpack and shoes, and urged anyone who had seen them to come forward urgently. Given Alice's struggle with depression, the police also considered the possibility of suicide in their investigation. With 600 officers mobilized from 8 different forces, this became the largest deployment of Metropolitan Police officers in a search since the London bombings in 2005. They meticulously reviewed footage from hundreds of CCTV cameras and offered a reward of $20,000 for any information leading to her whereabouts. Using divers and sniffer dogs, the police launched a massive search operation covering 9 square miles of woodland and nearly 4 miles of waterways. Despite their exhaustive efforts, including combing through murky waters and dense forests, there were no sightings or signs of Alice. Analysis of her phone data revealed that when she messaged her father about heading home, she was near the River Brent. Detective Superintendent Mehta ordered another thorough search of the area, convinced there was more to uncover. As time passed, the possibility of suicide seemed increasingly unlikely. Forensic scientists noted that initially, a body sinks when submerged in water. However, as decomposition progresses, gases form inside the body, causing it to float back to the surface. If Alice had drowned herself, she would likely have been found by now. Therefore, if she was in the water, something might have been weighing her down. They checked the missing persons database for the area and discovered that a 41-year-old man named Arnis Sulkins, originally from Latvia, had also been reported missing. He had lived in Ealing for about 7 years and worked as a builder. His partner contacted the police when he didn't return home from work. As the police continued to review the CCTV footage, they noticed a middle-aged man on a bike pedaling behind Alice as she crossed the bridge just a few minutes after her. He must have passed her at some point. The same man was later spotted on another camera crossing a busy road and cycling down. Initially, there seemed to be nothing suspicious, but upon closer examination, the police realized that the time it took him to cycle from the bridge to the main road was nearly 45 minutes, a journey that should have taken just a few minutes. The man on the bike was formally identified as Arnis Sulkins. The CCTV footage began to paint a very sinister picture. The police observed Sulkins on CCTV returning to the area where Alice had last been seen twice within 12 hours. He returned at 7:45 p.m. and re-emerged from the area at 8:50 p.m. on the evening of the 28th, now wearing different clothes. He made one final return just before 7 a.m. on the 29th. Additional CCTV footage showed him buying some beers in a shop around 8 p.m. on the 28th. Mehta and his team headed to Sulkins' property in Ealing to begin their search. A background check revealed their worst fears. Sulkins had previously been convicted of murder. He had beaten and stabbed his wife to death, burying her in a shallow grave, and had served 7 years in a Latvian prison for the crime. In 2009, just 2 years after arriving in London, he sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl near the same canal he had cycled down, only 2 miles from where Alice had gone missing. At that time, Scotland Yard did not have the policy of conducting the same thorough background checks they do today, so Sulkins' criminal history in Latvia was never brought to their attention. Since the 14-year-old girl did not make a formal statement, Sulkins was never prosecuted for the assault. 4 weeks after the search for Alice began, the police conducted a reconstruction of her last known route, using an actress dressed in an identical outfit to jog people's memories. No piece of evidence was too small, and the police needed every lead they could get. Detective Mehta and his team knew they were now searching for the man behind Alice's disappearance and likely murder, but Sulkins was nowhere to be found, raising fears that he might have fled the country. On September 30th, 5 weeks after Alice was last seen, a devastating and gruesome discovery was made. Just a day later, the police officially confirmed they had recovered the body of Alice Gross. She was found naked except for a single sock, tied up in a fetal position and wrapped in bin bags. Her body had been weighed down with bricks and logs and tied to a bicycle wheel. Further analysis revealed she had died of asphyxiation. At the crime scene, a cigarette butt with Sulkins' DNA was found, and his DNA was also discovered on Alice's shoes inside her backpack. During the search of his property, they found the back of Alice's iPhone 4S buried beneath his patio. 4 days after Alice's body was discovered, the police finally located Arnis Sulkins. He had committed suicide by hanging himself in a secluded wooded area of Boston Manor Park in Hounslow. The police speculated that Sulkins had encountered Alice while riding his bike, then attempted to or succeeded in sexually assaulting her and ultimately asphyxiating her. He had returned to the scene several times to further conceal her body. It was a truly harrowing discovery. The police confirmed that had they found him alive, they would have had enough evidence to charge him with the murder of Alice Gross. On October 23, 2014, Alice was laid to rest, allowing her family and the community to begin their grieving process. Her family fought tirelessly for reforms in policies and procedures regarding background checks. As a result, the procedures for conducting background checks on individuals entering the UK have been overhauled. The Criminal Records Office has increased its staff, and requests for criminal records have risen significantly, ensuring that 80% of foreign suspects are now thoroughly vetted. Alice Gross was a talented, vibrant, and creative young girl. Her life was tragically cut short, but her amazing energy and passion for life will always be remembered.